You can run, but you can't hide.
I wrote so much this year and I'm so happy. Hey everyone, it's Anna and welcome back to my channel. Hello. In today's video, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be talking about everything I wrote during 2022, and it's kind of so exciting because I started my authortube channel kind of up this time last year, and it's just crazy seeing that transition that I've been making these videos for the full year, and it just makes me so happy. So again, thank you so much. If you want to support me, definitely subscribe to my channel. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get on to what I wrote this year. Okay, so on my timeline it says in January and February I worked on Project BB, and if you don't know Project BB, it's a standalone fantasy novel that I've been writing for a little while and I'm still not finished, but during the first 2 months of 2022 I worked kind of hard on that and was able to get to around 67,000 words. So I'm kind of nearing sort of the climax of that story, so I really hope to get to at least 80,000 or a bit more in order to finish that book up. So that's what I worked on during January and February. During March I was able to plot basically draft 0 of Project Ghost, and Project Ghost might sound familiar to a few of you guys if you guys have watched my NaNoWriMo vlogs. However, during March I kind of took a break from writing, so that's why I didn't actually write anything. I was kind of on and off with also Project BB, but majorly I didn't write too much during March, because actually that was when my first uni sort of year was starting. So it was my first year in school and I was starting my law degree, and instead of focusing on my assignments I decided to plot this book in one day. So if you guys maybe have watched that video, how I plotted a book in one day, that was the project I plotted, and oh my days, I just could not stop. I just couldn't stop writing, so I ended up plotting a whole book in one day and I was able to do it. So that's what I wrote in March. In May I finished a book. Yes, I finished a book, baby. In May I was able to finish my first book I've ever written, and that is Project I First Met in a Graveyard. I can't even think about it without making me cry. That project was amazing. I was actually able to pantser the whole way through. I think it ended up being like 44,000 words or something like that, so it's kind of a shorter novella, but it was just crazy being able to pantser that whole thing without any sort of formal plot, but I was able to get that down, and I actually had a vlog on me finishing that project. I remember finishing it at like 11 or 12 at night, and I just felt on top of the world because it was the first book I've ever really truly finished, and it was just exciting. So yeah, I was able to finish a book that month. June was a very plotting slash brainstorming sort of month for me. I really was just too obsessed with so many different stories I wanted to write, and I ended up kind of brainstorming a lot of them. For example, I'm not sure if you guys remember Project I, which I still definitely very much want to write. It's basically about 2 inventors who try to save the world, and it's kind of set in the industrial revolution era in London and across the world. But literally that project is so fun to me, but I haven't plotted it fully yet. So yeah, during that month of June I just was focusing on so many different things, even some short stories, even just some fun projects that I just wanted to write and didn't end up finishing. And it was a fun month, but I did not write very much. In July, I actually was able to submit a short story that I worked on for a few days, and I think around a week basically, and I submitted it, and I heard back from them recently and I did not get an award, which is totally fine. But that short story was extremely fun to write because I was actually able to send that piece of work over to my sister and my friends, and they were able to read it. And it's the first time I ever really shared any of my work, any of my pieces to anyone ever, and the amount of positive feedback I got from them made me so happy. But of course the competition, the panel didn't seem to like my story, which is totally fine. If you're curious of what sort of competition I submitted to, it's the Australian Young Writers Award. I saw the amazing stories of like the winners and they were beautiful. I definitely think reflecting on that short story, and I would definitely love to talk about it and maybe yeah, read it to you guys in maybe one of my podcast episodes, because if you didn't know, I have a podcast. Definitely go check it out. My last episode is probably like one of my favorites I've ever like recorded, so definitely listen to that. However, yes, what was I talking about? Yes, okay, so yeah, my story was very much too fiction. Like it was kind of had like fantasy, mysterious elements to it, and the winners were just like very Australian. They were like very Australian, very Australian, and it was just like, okay, they're just looking for Australian pieces, not very much like fiction, fantasy, I don't know. But yeah, that was really fun just to kind of test it out and just have something to work towards, and at least I kind of got shortlisted, which is fun. So yeah, that's what I wrote during July. August, September and October were very on and off months. That's when finals was coming up in my degree for law, and I was just stressed, and I was kind of also going through a writing slump during that time, so I didn't physically write any like projects or like didn't really focus on any of my current work in progresses either. However, I did come up with a new project idea randomly. I don't know, I forgot how I got the idea. Actually, it was I remember now. During August and September, I had actually discovered Phoebe Bridgers, who has become my favorite artist of all time. I can't believe I haven't known her since August. That's crazy. But Phoebe is amazing. Please listen to her. Please listen. She's amazing. And that project was inspired by one of her songs. I think the song name is Chelsea, and that song really inspired my project Prison, which I started to plot during August and September and like throughout October too. It was kind of like on and off since of course uni finals, but again I was able to come up with that cool project idea from a song which seemed really cool. But again, I didn't really write many like physical things during those 3 months, but I still was able to, yeah, plot and come up with a new idea, which was fun. And now we're up to November. So of course November, NaNoWriMo baby. I actually have like I have a whole series. It's called the NaNoWriMo Diaries on my channel. I have a playlist. Definitely go check it out. I'll probably link it up there in the iCard. But I was able to actually finish my book. I finished my book like by writing like I think only 2 weeks, because when I looked at my chart I realized I hadn't written for a total of 7 days. Like I didn't write those days. And then technically, since I finished a week before Nano ended, that means I kind of wrote a book in 2 weeks. So that's kind of cool. And if you haven't watched my vlogs, definitely do. But my project that I worked on, you would know, was Project Ghost. Why did it take me so long to remember? That's been like in my mind for a long time. Project Ghost, I love it so much. It's an amazing story. It kind of only ended up being like 33,000 words, which is kind of cool. It was like a novella. It definitely, like, the climax came so quickly to the point where I was like finally writing this scene I've been wanting to write for a whole year, and I'm like, wow, like this is it. And I like kind of share that in my vlog, and just like how crazy it is and how proud I am of that manuscript, and kind of reflecting on my change of writing. I definitely think throughout that month I transitioned somehow, and especially throughout the last few months of this year, my writing has changed so much. Like I compare this manuscript, the one I just wrote last month in November, to the one I wrote in May, which was Project I First Met in a Graveyard. Project Ghost is so much better. Like I can actually send it to people, not now, at least I'm kind of editing throughout the manuscript, but that is so much better. Like just like my writing, the way I approach the book, the sort of message behind it, it's so much more rounded and like interpretable and like understandable, and I just am so proud of that project. So NaNoWriMo in November, I won it, so it's so fun. And lastly, this month, which is December, I have been working on Project Prison and also editing my Project Ghost story, my manuscript, and I'm kind of like up to only chapter 3 through that edit of my second draft, but I definitely hope to finish it by the end of December so I can start sending it out to people for like kind of just general feedback of the story, the feel of it, by February? No, January. January's before February, that's right. So yeah, they're my 2 goals also, if you didn't know, to finish draft 2 of Project Ghost and to also plot Project Prison and finish it very strongly. And I guess that's kind of draft 0 and draft 2. So yeah, that's what I'm working on in December. And last but not least, I also have been writing poetry. If you didn't know, I love poetry so much, and I thought it'll be really fun if I can just randomly pick a poem to read to you. And if you didn't know, I actually like to kind of turn these poems into ballads and therefore like songs, because I like to play my guitar a lot and actually sing a lot of songs and my own original songs. So if you are also maybe curious of listening to my poems or maybe my songs, definitely let me know. But yeah, I hope to read to you some of my favorite poems. So let's go. This one is called My Boyfriend is Stuck in the Dirt. My boyfriend is stuck in the dirt. The graveyard birds sing. I can hear them in the morning. Your teeth are green, your eyes are white. Will you find a way back tonight? I'll be waiting to slam the door. Ghosts can smile, so why can't you? These hands were meant for holding, but instead they're breaking through the walls of the heart that beats like a drum. Your soul is sad, but it'll come back home, back home, back home for me to hold. Eventually, eventually, eventually your skin will crack. My veins will stop pumping blood for you. Eventually. That's an interesting one. Literally how I write poems and poetry is I just let my mind run, and this is what it comes up with. Let's read to you one more. Okay, so this one is called Instead of Autumn. Holding out like a broken branch, you're singing to winter like a calm old man. You like your coffee when it's lukewarm. Can you hold me instead? Maple leaves, come kill me, swallow me in a brown tornado. Leaves fall just like me, but I'm not dead because I'm warm with you. Yellow is your favorite color, and I always thought that a joke. Because I hate yellow with all my heart, and you don't care when you wear that sweater. Church bells, come lull me, sing like a song of a funeral. People go just like me, but they go and you're not staying. Holding out like a broken branch, come hold me instead. Yeah, there are a couple of my poems that I just wanted to share with you to let you know I like to write poetry too. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Definitely let me know how your writing year went below. I'll definitely love to listen and also comment and reply back to you to see how you're doing and encourage you to have a good year also next year. Just a reminder that you don't have to write anything, you don't have to finish anything this year to have a successful writing year. I feel like I've grown so much as a writer, and that's because yes, I did finish 2 books, but also the whole sort of, I don't know, development and change of my writing style was because of practice and just showing up whenever I can. So again, don't stress too much if you didn't write that much, but of course if you did, congrats. And yeah, make sure you treat yourself this Christmas. Yeah, let me know how you guys are going below, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!